Hello, toy nerds. And yes, I am here today, and the pleasure is truly all yours. Coming in at number 6, he's fuzzy and smells like a car deodorizer, but he's my friend, Mossman.
Thank you very much, He-Man. I agree. Mossman number 6. He is one of the crew, and he's a cool one of the crew. Now, why didn't he make it higher? Well, he came a little bit later in the line. We all love the figure and this and that, but if I'm going to pick He-Man's top 6, I have trouble putting him above these other 5. But Mossman, great character. Tell me about his background a little bit, Brian.
All right. Well, Mossman itself as a toy was a cool figure. It was basically the same type as Beastman, but he had that like extra like different like a felt. It was almost like an AstroTurf feel, and he had that nice little pine saw smell to it.
He was
Which
he was fuzzy and he smelled good too. Yeah.
yeah, according to like the history of Mossman, he is one of the most powerful heroes there is. He controlled all the plants, all the vegetations of the earth. So it was almost like he was nature. He had that much power where he was part of nature. And He-Man used him, even though you call him as a heroic warrior, he was a pretty good spy for He-Man because he covered the earth. He was able to blend in any environment.
He technically could have been Skeletor's houseplant for 2 weeks, and Skeletor wouldn't have a clue.
Pretty much. I mean, it's like
it might have been a little demoralizing for Mossman, but let's be straight here. He could have just been a houseplant, just listening to all the plans. That's what I would have done with Mossman if I was He-Man.
Pretty sure he opened a Salad Works.
And that's the second thing I would have done.
Mossman still looks like an avocado.
Mossman looks like an avocado. Delicious.
Coming in at number 5, it's a bird. It's a bird. Stratos.
Yeah, so number 5, we have Stratos coming in, and
Number 5.
number 5. He's OG also. He showed up on the cartoon almost every episode. It felt like he showed up a lot in the mini comics everywhere. He's one of He-Man's main go-to. I have him right here. The figure's great too. I've always loved the figure. I don't have the actual wings, but Brian, you said something interesting. There is a variant on this. What's the variant with the figure?
Yeah, it's funny when that figure came out. If you had the one you had right now with the red jetpack, it came with blue wings, but they also made one with a blue jetpack that came with red wings.
As far as Stratos, tell me what you know about him and his bird people.
Well, I know he comes from the kingdom of Avion, which sits high up in the mountains, but in the comic books, he always worked with Eternia. He was one of the heroic warriors, where he was one of Randor's, I don't want to say soldiers, but confidant.
Right.
Where he was always there. He was always on the side of good.
He wasn't just a bird guy who fought for the birds.
Yeah.
He fought for the heroic warriors in King Randor.
He was one of few figures that in all his storylines, he flew on his own. Like the jetpack he wears,
Right.
That's only there for him to boost his speed. That's like if you're a car guy, you have a car you could drive, you throw some nitrous in that car, you're gone. And that's what that jetpack was for.
Gotcha. So he could fly on his own, though. He did not need a jetpack.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good to know. I wasn't sure. I saw the jetpack. I'm like, can this bird even fly? He can fly.
He's a natural.
He's a natural.
Somewhere in the mini comics it said that him or his avions, the bird people, always had a disagreement with the bee people, which were represented by Buzz Off and all that.
Guys.
And He-Man was one of the figures there. He-Man was like one of the heads that got them to get together and work together instead of working against each other.
He-Man and the insect people. Maybe this might shed some light on the situation.
Favorite bedtime story.
This is a classic bedtime story for your kids. This will put them right out.
Coming in at number 4, he's short and stout, just like that teapot. Ram Man.
Coming in at number 4, Ram Man. And like we mentioned earlier, great mini comics told us all about this guy. But this is one where it's not only, and you can see that him and He-Man are not friends at this point. We'll talk about it in a second. Not just a great comic, not just a great friend of He-Man, but a great figure. Watch this. Oh, he could ram shit. So Brian, tell me about Ram Man. Tell me about this mini comic. What did we learn about this guy? Why is he fighting He-Man?
Skeletor put Ram Man under a spell to attack He-Man. And he was like a new type of warrior where it's like he was blunt force hitting you. So if you have the most powerful man in the universe, wouldn't you want to hit him with the most blunt force you had?
I
Yep.
would.
Yep.
Yeah, right, Jork? We agree. Why didn't he just destroy He-Man? What happened in the story?
Well, when Skeletor focused his power to hit He-Man from the back, the power he had over Ram Man started to dwindle. And then Ram Man cleared up and said, what am I fighting for? What am I doing?
And at that point, him and He-Man, bros.
Bros forever.
Exactly.
Coming in at number 3, one for each of his crazy faces, Many Faces.
Number 3, another guy that would make my best figure list, but also He-Man's bro list, because it is a great figure. It's Many Faces, and I absolutely love this guy. He has 3 faces. He has the man, he has the robot, and he has my favorite, the monster. Look at the monster. Oh, yeah. He looks like the third face. Wait, hold on a second. Kind of looks like Dwark. Any relation, Dwark, to Many Faces?
I think my cousin's stuck in there.
Could be your cousin. So, Brian, I love this guy. Another great mini comic. Tell me about Many Faces and Skeletor and their connection.
Okay, first off, this figure is one of my personal favorites
Great.
because on one of my birthdays, you were the one that actually gave me that figure.
I give many gifts. Yeah, many gifts on
So that
many
was
birthdays.
awesome.
That's a good one. That's probably my best gift I've ever given anybody in my entire life. Thank you, Brian, for mentioning that. Thank you.
But Many Faces was just like, if you want to go according to mini comic and all that, which I'm a real fan of the mini comics.
Too.
He was an actor. He was an attorney and actor that could change his face and all that. And he was something else, like, you know, Skeletor sitting there in Snake Mountain saying, oh, how can I mess up He-Man's day? And he enchanted Many Faces to go after He-Man, to start a whole big ruckus during like one of them Eternian parties. You know, nobody parties like Eternians.
Right.
So they're having a
Yep.
party. And
Yep,
then
that's true.
It's true.
I believe when he changed faces, Skeletor was still controlling him,
Mhm.
but Skeletor couldn't control the monster face.
Right.
No way.
So
No way.
when he changed, something affected the actor that was Many Faces. And ever since then, you know, He-Man came in, broke up the party, saved Many Faces from Skeletor, and they became best buds.
Another bromance formed at that moment. And I understand not being able to control the monster. Look at
Another
Dwark.
great ending.
A great ending, but Dwark's a bit uncontrollable himself at times.
Yep. Manny Feces, Manny Pacquiao.
But like we said about the Ram Man figure,
Many Faces.
this is another figure that there wasn't any other molds made. There wasn't like an evil version or a third version. That it was just a cool figure that
He's very unique. He does not like being called Many Feces at all.
Manny Feces.
You keep doing that. If you're watching Many Faces, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Do you think you got enough out? Do you have more you want to say or no?
No. I got enough out.
I think that's pretty good.
Get it off your chest. Get it off your chest.
Now that's one of them figures I was going to say.
I knew it.
Tell me more.
No, I was going to say I belong to a group that every
I knew there was more to the story.
once a year they call it Bring Many Faces to Work Day, where you take Many Faces to work and take a picture.
Wow, bring your man. So listen to that, everybody. Let's find out that day, and we can all bring our Many Faces to work day.
And run as far as you can from that job.
Yeah, to get away from that place. If anybody brings one of these into work, run. Take the day off. They're nuts.
Run.
Coming in at number 2, get ready, Dwark, Teela.
Oh, Teela.
Somebody just introduced Barry White to the situation.
All right. So anyway, Brian, we're not huge Teela fans, but she had to make the list because she's one of He-Man's most loyal members of the crew.
She was the first female action figure released in the Masters of the Universe. So now you're getting all these guys buying action figures, you know, that are the size of Barbies, like the way they used to make G.I. Joes.
Right.
You release her, people are afraid, oh, they're not going to buy her because she's a girl and all that. But once again, the mini comic sold it. She came with the Cobra head dress, the shield, and the state thing. So whether you want her as Teela, the goddess, and they were scared to introduce her in a comic book because whether she was a goddess or Teela, they were scared that she was going to stand alone. But later on in the mini comics and all that, you find out she's Man-at-Arms, adopted daughter, and she became a real powerhouse. She's a lieutenant of the Eternian Guard. You later find out that she was the sorceress's daughter. So through all that brute strength, her willpower, everything, she has a little bit of magic in her.
Yep.
So basically,
I think
if you were going to
put a little bit of magic in her.
Oh, yeah.
like if you want to go like Dungeons and Dragons and all that as a warrior, she is the most well-rounded warrior. Fighting, wisdom, magic, she has it all.
Loving.
she's high in the loving category for boggling.
But the one thing she's missing is Dwarf.
Oh, she's not missing anything there, trust me. But Brian, you're saying how they were worried about guys buying female characters. She's one of the first ones I bought at Clover. Like it sold. It wasn't like Barbie, it wasn't anything like that. It was like she was legitimately one of the warriors, and it crossed genders as far as what we were buying back then. So it says a lot for the character they created.
He has a mustache that even Burt Reynolds and Tom Selleck would be envious of. My good friend, my main bro, Man-at-Arms.
Number one, Man-at-Arms. There is no other choice. He is the main guy, right, Brian? There's nobody that He-Man relies on more than this guy right here.
If Batman can have a butler, He-Man has to have a Man-at-Arms.
But Man-at-Arms would kick Alfred's ass. Let's not mistake anything right there, right?
True.
Okay, go ahead.
He leads the Eternian Palace Guards. He is the leader of the guards. He comes up with all their weapons. He's one of the chosen few that know that Prince Adam is He-Man. And basically it's like he's that one person that He-Man, when he's not He-Man and he's Prince Adam, could be himself in front of. His instincts on the battlefield and all that. It's like outside of He-Man, he is probably the toughest one to battle. It's like time and time again, Evil Lynn, Skeletor's sorceress, never really worried about He-Man. She was always worried about Man-at-Arms because Man-at-Arms was not so much he knew about magic, but he was skilled with weaponry, hand-to-hand combat, and basically he was the toughest individual on that field.
All right, so that's our top 6 list, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight, Brian. Dwarf, I appreciate it. Everybody at home, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and please like the video and leave a comment. We love to hear from you. Thank you very much, everybody, and stay tuned for our next video where we talk about the top 5 members of the Horde. We're talking Horde X crew this time. You ready for that, Brian?
Oh yeah.
How about you, Dwarf?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, guys. See you next time. Thanks, everybody. Take care.